In the Baltic security environment of the mid-2020s, artillery has quietly returned to the center of military planning. For Sweden, this shift is not ideological, but empirical. The war in Ukraine has demonstrated that more than 70% of battlefield casualties are caused by indirect fire, while long-range precision artillery has proven decisive in shaping maneuver space long before armored or air assets arrive. Against this backdrop, Sweden's completion of the Archer version C upgrade is not a technical footnote, but a strategic statement about how the country intends to defend itself and contribute to collective security in Northern Europe. The Baltic region is defined by short warning times, limited strategic depth, and a dense sensor environment. Russian forces in the Western Military District field more than 1,000 tube and rocket artillery systems supported by counter-battery radars and electronic warfare assets. In such an environment, survivability matters as much as raw firepower. Sweden's answer has been to prioritize mobility, automation, and integration rather than mass. This logic underpins the evolution of its modern artillery arm and explains why the Archer system has become a cornerstone of national defense planning. Archer was conceived around the principle of shoot and scoot long before the term became fashionable. Mounted on a wheeled chassis and designed for high levels of automation, the system allows a very small crew to deliver heavy firepower and relocate before counter-battery fire can be brought to bear. The core weapon is a 155mm gun compliant with North Atlantic Treaty Organization standards, capable of firing standard high-explosive rounds to ranges exceeding 30 kilometers and extended range or guided munitions beyond 40 kilometers. With precision projectiles, effective engagement distances can reach or exceed 50 kilometers, depending on terrain and firing profile. Version C represents a maturation rather than a reinvention. One of the most consequential upgrades lies in command, control, and connectivity. The system now integrates a modernized fire control architecture that allows digital tasking directly from higher-level command nodes and from sensor platforms such as counter-battery radar and unmanned aerial systems. The time from target acquisition to first round on target has been reduced to well under 30 seconds in optimal conditions. In a region where counter-battery radars can detect firing positions in seconds, this compression of the sensor-to-shooter loop is not a luxury, but a requirement for survival. Automation is another defining characteristic. Archer operates with a crew of 3 to 4 soldiers compared with 6 to 8 on many comparable systems. This is strategically significant for Sweden, which relies on a mix of professional soldiers and conscripts. Reducing crew size lowers training burdens, eases sustainment during prolonged operations, and allows the armed forces to generate more firing units from a limited manpower pool. From a national resilience perspective, this matters as much as range or rate of fire. Mobility and survivability form the second pillar of the version C upgrade. Deployment and displacement times are measured in minutes rather than tens of minutes. From a cold start, the system can halt, fire a multiple-round salvo, and move again in roughly 2 minutes. This sharply reduces exposure to counter-battery fire, especially when operating against an adversary that relies heavily on artillery locating radars. In the forests, road networks, and dispersed terrain of Sweden and the Baltic states, Such agility allows artillery units to exploit concealment and constantly shift firing positions. Reliability and readiness have also been emphasized. Swedish defense authorities have set availability targets above 90%, reflecting lessons from Ukraine, where maintenance bottlenecks have often limited the practical impact of theoretically powerful systems. Version C incorporates improvements aimed at simplifying maintenance in cold climates, ensuring that the system can operate effectively in sub-zero temperatures and during extended winter deployments. For a country whose strategic geography includes the high north, this is not a marginal consideration. The strategic relevance of Archer becomes clearest when examined through Baltic defense scenarios. Gotland, often described as an unsinkable aircraft carrier in the Baltic Sea, is a focal point of Swedish defense planning. Artillery systems capable of delivering precision fire over long distances can deny landing zones, disrupt amphibious operations, and support joint fires with air and naval assets. From positions on Gotland or mainland Sweden, Archer units can contribute to a layered defense that complicates any attempt at rapid fait accompli operations in the region. Cost-effectiveness further strengthens the case. Maintaining continuous fighter patrols is expensive in terms of fuel, maintenance hours, and pilot availability. Precision artillery offers a complementary form of deterrence at a lower cost per firing unit. While guided artillery munitions are not cheap, they remain significantly less expensive than air-launched cruise missiles, and they can be produced and stockpiled in larger numbers. This aligns with Sweden's emphasis on sustainable defense rather than short-term demonstrations of power. Comparisons with other systems help clarify what Archer is and what it is not. Compared with the French Caesar, Archer offers higher levels of automation and faster emplacement at the cost of a heavier platform. Relative to the American Paladin, Archer trades tracked mobility for strategic and operational mobility on roads, which suits Northern European infrastructure. When set against Russian systems such as the Tu-S-19, Archer's advantages lie less in sheer rate of fire and more in digital integration, crew protection, and rapid displacement. The Swedish design philosophy prioritizes survivability in a contested sensor environment over brute force. Beyond the battlefield, Archer plays a critical role in Sweden's defense industrial strategy. The system represents a domestically controlled capability, from integration to sustainment. In an era when supply chains are increasingly politicized, this degree of national control is strategically valuable. Exports to partners such as Norway and the United Kingdom have reinforced Sweden's reputation as a provider of high-quality, interoperable defense systems. These sales are not merely commercial successes, they embed Swedish technology into allied force structures, strengthening political and military ties. Sweden's accession to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization has further elevated the importance of interoperability. Archer version C has been designed to operate seamlessly within alliance fire support networks, sharing targeting data and receiving missions from multinational command structures. This transforms Swedish artillery from a purely national asset into a force multiplier for Allied operations in Northern Europe. In practical terms, it means that Swedish units can support or be supported by neighboring forces without lengthy adaptation periods. Looking ahead to the early 2030s, Archer is likely to become part of a broader sensor-to-shooter ecosystem. Integration with unmanned aerial reconnaissance, counter-battery radars, and electronic warfare systems will further shorten engagement cycles and increase precision. In such a networked environment, the value of artillery lies not in individual guns, but in how quickly and accurately they can be brought to bear as part of a larger system. The completion of the version C upgrade therefore signals more than technical progress. It reflects a coherent defense philosophy shaped by geography, history, and hard lessons from contemporary conflict. Sweden is not attempting to match potential adversaries, system for system or number for number. Instead, it is investing in capabilities that maximize deterrence, resilience, and alliance value within realistic resource constraints. For Swedish audiences, the significance of Archer lies in this strategic realism. It demonstrates how a medium-sized country can maintain credible defense by aligning industrial capacity, military doctrine, and alliance commitments. In the evolving security landscape of the Baltic, Archer version C stands as a practical embodiment of Sweden's approach. Technologically sophisticated, operationally agile, and strategically grounded in the realities of modern warfare.